unmuted now.
Yeah. Hi, Emil. How are you doing? Let's start again.
Yeah, I'm doing well. So let me share my screen.
Yeah. So share with the guys. You say that you're in the UK at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm in Glasgow.
In Glasgow. Wow. Very nice. How is it? How is it up there?
Rainy. What else could you expect from Glasgow?
Very similar to Manchester then. Very similar to Manchester. No, we can't get away from the rain wherever we go, can we? But no. Okay.
Hopefully you can see the screen.
Yeah, you're on screen now with your.
Okay, excellent. So I'll get started. So thanks very much for joining the webinar. My session is Financial Freedom Power BI Dashboard. My name is Emil Glownia. And this is essentially the dashboard I will be talking about. Now, there is a little bit of a personal talk, personal reasons behind it. So, like everyone, it would be great to be financially free. But there is a difference between I think I'm thinking about that and actually doing something to become financially free. So my case was I was thinking about that or doing something about it a little bit with my e-learning website for passive income in 2010 onwards, but that didn't work out. Things have changed for me in 2018 when my son Jasper was born, and soon after I had a serious illness called and had an episode of paranoid schizophrenia, which is a mental health disorder, and ended up in a hospital for a few weeks. 6 months later, I didn't take medication and ended up in a mental health hospital again, losing memory for 3 weeks, consciousness, and being in a very poor state for 3 months in the hospital. And after that, recovery on antipsychotic drugs, which I was like a zombie. Now, well, the impact of that on my finances was that I wasn't really prepared, and it hit me quite a lot because I couldn't do any work, I couldn't do any activities, I couldn't watch TV, I couldn't read anything, I was useless a bit for my family, I couldn't do anything. And I was in a situations where I had to rethink my relationship with money, because I was living on the little savings that I had, and I didn't know if I'm going back to work at all. So I started to think about my life, what I want to change in it, and think seriously, really seriously about my finances to get in control of it. Fortunately, I recovered to a point where I got a new contract and things started to improve. So in 2020, I decided that, well, I want to do what business intelligence does for businesses, but in my personal life. So that was my idea. I'm saying, well, I've been doing BI for 15 years. So how come I cannot implement what I've learned in BI and implement in my own life? So I decided to change my perspective on reality and apply everything I know about BI, not just technical things, not just implementations, but decision making, and seeing if I'm really making a difference in my personal life. And of course, in personal life, we have several key things like health, relationships, family, but then we have also money and time management. But money is the thing where you don't have it, that's it, you're homeless. You cannot support yourself, you cannot support others with that. Others will have to support you, and if you don't have anyone else, that's it. It's being homeless. It's no option. Tough. It's the life we live in. And obviously, it's really important to not just avoid those situations which I've been through, but also live a meaningful life and fulfilling life. So I decided to create a vision for myself, for my finances, and I decided to get clarity. So no more saying, yeah, it's going well when it isn't. No more saying I'm on control where I'm spending everything I earn, and no more saying that I will be fine if I get if I'm out of job for a little bit longer or ill, because it can come back to me in my case with schizophrenia, but it can happen to anyone. So what I really want to show in here is an opportunity to anyone to apply what you've learned with Power BI, what you've learned with business intelligence in your own personal life, or just enjoy the session and see what I have just created if you wish not to see the facts. But what we've got in here is the dashboard, which I will discuss in more details during this session. What do you get after this webinar? You will get the dashboard. It's free of use. You can use it, enter your own data, do your own analysis, do your own monitoring. You don't have to be technical to use it. There is instruction to use it. Obviously, we have mostly technical audience in here. PowerPoint slides, there will be some interesting information, and obviously webinar recording. Now, agenda, a quick introduction. We'll talk about key performance indicators, Power BI dashboard, and how to use the dashboard, and questions and answers at the end. So my name is Emil Glownia. I'm a Microsoft certified solutions expert in BI, and I specialize in business intelligence, and since Power BI was released, which is now 6 years, I focus on Power BI projects. Before that, I was doing business intelligence with Microsoft SQL Server BI stack and data warehousing, which occasionally I still do to a certain degree. Katie is my wife. She's a Power BI developer who really likes going into the details of things and the development. I have written a book once I recovered from to a certain degree. It's called A Career with Microsoft Power BI. It is available for free on Apple, Kobo, and another website in here. On Amazon, there is a small charge, minimal charge, because I cannot set it to free, but you can get any format from me, or PDF format from me if you wish. You just need to visit katieandemil.com books or contact me on LinkedIn. And there is one review from Inayat on Amazon, which you can read and see if that's something you would like to read as well. It's a short 1 hour easy read, non-technical stuff and full of facts, so I recommend that. My company, Katie and Emil, we co-founded it in 2011. We offer Power BI consulting, global, any size, and we offer expertise, flexibility, and great price with a service we called a Flexi Team. I do consulting. I don't sell anything. I only do consulting. Mainly I do contracts. That's what I've been doing since 2011. Since 2018, just before my illness, I started doing a little bit of consultations, and now that I recovered, I do it now more often. So I do offer remote consulting using a Flexi Team. It's a unique service I kind of designed over the years. It's ideal for kind of budget-conscious Power BI projects that some customers are. Mainly focuses on business-driven stuff, so ad hoc projects, part-time, but we also cover full-time if someone wants a full-time employee, and we do it in 2 teams, either a global team, so we get a team of developers who work for us. I manage the project myself, and then one of my developers does the work. It's a very competitive pricing for the expertise that you get, and then local UK pricing in here. You can follow me on LinkedIn. We have, sorry about that. We have two groups, a business intelligence with Power BI, which is technical audience. So I post stuff on Power BI, and I also set up something for my kind of personal needs, life intelligence with Power BI. So this is the financial freedom and other things that are non-technical that I will be doing from time to time. So those two pages you can follow. Where we post, share posts, and my personal account is Emil Glownia, and Katie's is Katie Glownia, if you would like to connect or ask any questions you may have. We have a webinar group, not for BI yet. We will be setting it up soon, but we have one for life intelligence, which is available on Meetup, and sessions like this and other ones will be presenting there. So what do you want to achieve in life? There are many different things you want to do to achieve, but how about financial freedom? Now, to me, financial freedom was like, I wanted it, but at the same time, I didn't believe it. So there was a bit of a mix between consciously I wanted it, but unconsciously I didn't really believe it. Things to think about is, do you have everything you need to do that? I didn't in 2018, until later on 2019, 2020, I started learning what is it that I need to learn to do that. So I started reading books about financial freedom and property investment in my case. Do you have a realistic plan, and is your actual progress aligned with forecast? So hopefully, if you haven't, you can with Power BI dashboard as a starting point. And if you already have, that's great. Now, do you believe you can achieve it? I think beliefs, especially unconscious beliefs, play an important part in things. But one way I like to change beliefs, especially the beliefs we have when we are very young people, when we ask ourselves, where did you create this belief? And you often go many years to the past, even teenage times or childhood, and you say, I created it at that time, but it essentially means it's made up. So it's relatively easy to change, and it's quite easy to change with facts. So for instance, the fact is, if you take income and expenses, you get savings. If you take some of the savings and invest them and get a certain return on investment of that will give you your passive income. And essentially, if your passive income is more than your expenses, you are financially free. That's my simple definition. So this is the starting point. So all we have to do is work out the key performance indicators. So all of these are key performance indicators. And let's start with an example. Average household in the UK estimates, it's not accurate, but I had to come up with something. Income is for a household 35k after tax, expenses 29k, savings 6k. Average return on investments on the stock market, so let's say pension, when you invest, someone invests your money, is 10%. Now I will assume 10% after tax, which is can vary if you do your own investments and pay tax on that. But we have investment of 6k times 10%. Now that gives us 19 years to be financially free, excluding inflation. So this is the first fact. If you save 6,000, 10% after 19 years, you get 30k in passive income. And your total asset is 300k with reinvestment of what you invest every year. Now, the key performance indicators is essentially a combination of income, expenses, savings, investments, and for me, a very important one, a financial cushion. I'm of an opinion we should always have a financial cushion, a cushion which means if you are out of work, you are ill, suddenly all income disappears, you can live for, let's say, a year or two without worrying that you run out of money. So this is the dashboard. So we have take home as one of the first KPIs, expenses, savings. Investments is where things get a little bit tricky, because you have to invest in something. You can lose money on investments, but investments can make a big difference. And I will show you some examples of that it can make a huge difference. For instance, in reinvestments in 10%, you can see the reinvestments of what you invest increases quite considerably over time. And then we have passive income after tax. And this is a future look for things. And the way I split it, I put basic freedom at around, well, 25K, just below the average spending, very good freedom in here and excellent freedom over here. So the purpose of the dashboard is just to give you clarity of what it is in the last, let's say, 5-10 years, depending on how much data you have. And what it should be in the next 10 years. So it gives you both views in the past and in the future, and then you can use it on a regular basis to see if you are on track and if you need to readjust certain things. And then we have financial cushion over here with that's in years. I've made a little update decimal to friendly name, but that's essentially high risk for me, moderate risk and low risk. And it's really good idea to think about it from what is the risk of being out of a job or being ill, because as much as I don't wish anyone for that, we had COVID and we have other things that can happen. Now, investments can make a lot of a difference. 90% of people lose money on stock market. That's a statistic I found on the internet. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but it's just interesting to see. And apparently 90% of millionaires invest in real estate, which, with my knowledge of property investment so far, it doesn't surprise me at all. Now, investments is a combination of investment amount, return on investment, and duration. And when I looked into financial freedom, read the books, and started to see how these three factors play, I was really surprised about what it showed. I was really surprised between the connection of these three factors, and when I changed them, what the result was. I thought if I just double return on investments, things will double, but it wasn't the case. Things were much higher than I expected. And I will give you some examples. So it's really important to understand those three factors, because they play a major thing, especially duration. If you start early, it makes a big difference. Now, future value, there is a formula in Power BI, future value in Excel and in Google Sheets and everywhere else. Essentially, future value formula allows you to put your investments per year, your return on investments, and it comes up with how much money will you have after a number of years. So you have investments 6K, return on investments 10%, 600 through investments nothing, and next year you take the 600 and add it to your 1200, so 6,000, 12,000 plus 600 that your is investments on, plus return on investment, and it continues like that. Now you can see after 19 years that gives us 30,000 passive income. and reinvestment value, what we reinvest, you can see it increases quite considerably, and you can see that in here you invest 114k, but you actually, from reinvestments, you actually have 192. So it's really important to understand this aspect of reinvestments because it does play a major role in becoming financially free. Now, if we look at the long term, so if someone starts at the age of, I don't know, 20 and at age of, and want to do that long term, which you can see that your total assets will be 1 million. So you will essentially become a millionaire after 31 years. So it takes another 12 years from 300k to a million just in 12 years, which gives you 100k passive income in here. And after 40 years, you have 2.6 million, 265 passive income and reinvestments. You can see your investments is 240,000, but your reinvestment, what you reinvest is 2.4 million. So that's the difference between your total assets and what you invested, which is 2.4. So you can see that the duration in the investments makes a big difference. So the sooner you start investing, the better. Obviously, in something that brings you is low risk and gives you return on investment. Now, investment choices, we have saving accounts, low risk, low return on investments. Pension employer contribution is an excellent one, where they often employers will double your contribution. So that's an excellent return on investment, and the pension company will invest your money, and if you have double the money, then you get double the return, the passive income from it. Buying a house is also an interesting investment because you do make savings by repaying your mortgage, and property price typically increases over the long-term period. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't do anything. I just use it for myself, and that's because every investment has risks and requires knowledge to lower the risks. Questions to you: what will you invest in, and what return on investments can you realistically get? So I'm at a stage where I know I will invest in properties, and that's probably going to be this year and next year, and I have a rough idea of what I can expect from that. Now, on our dashboard, we have take home. Now, there is a take home calculator on our website if you want to convert your permanent salary or contract into take home. Average salary in UK is 31.5k, 25 take home. Average salary for IT developer according to IT Job Watch is 54k, which will vary depending on the region, which is 40k at take home. So that's the histogram of the salary distribution. So it's a good idea to analyze from a take-home perspective. One of the easiest way to become financially free is to see if you have reached your potential in your earnings. And I've also included average job salary in 150 different roles in here. So for the dashboard, I recommend to look at what the potential is, what the market offers for permanent roles or contracts, and then work out your target and your potential over here, which will just give you something to think about if you haven't reached the full potential. Now, take home potential and target. So simply think about where is your actual where is your target for this year or next year if you are willing to change your jobs or ask for a pay rise, and then what is your potential, realistic potential, but something that if you waited for the right position, what would be your potential? So for instance, I know for Power BI roles or BI roles, if you wait a few weeks or months, that you will find positions in this range of 75K and more. I've seen quite a few of those over a period of time, so they are not that rare, but they may require you to relocate or just wait until the opportunity comes. Now, the second alternative is to do contracts. So with the contracts, you can also come up, what is my actual target and potential, something to think about. And I've given you a little bit of a summary. What is the maximum? So that's maximum. So that's without bench time, and that's assuming outside area 35, no breaks. For 450 a day, that's 100K a year, 67.5 take home. So for instance, expenses 30K, that gives savings not 6K but 37.5K. So quite of a big difference, and that increases 550, 600, 700. There are sometimes roles above 700. I had a contract in the past for 750 and 850, but those are relatively rare opportunities. And if you want to calculate the realistic take home, because that's maximum, so if you want to consider the bench time and your expenses, or how it's different between IR 35 inside outside, you can use the take home calculator that we have in here. Now here is an investment scenario for you. This is what I talk about, the different kind of things when we have investment value. So for instance, let's say you say 30K a year, you become financially free if you invest after 8 years. And you earn your first million in 16 years, and after 30 years you get 4.9 million. So that's quite interesting statistics. For 10% return on investments, 100K is 3 years, 8 years, and 16.4 million. Now, when I fill in my dashboard first time, it was a little bit disappointing because I've been doing contracting for 10 years and I essentially wasted 10 years. I should have worked out what is it that I want to invest in, work out the details, learn it, financial freedom, property investments, all the information was available 10 years ago and I've just missed the opportunity. So I should have been financially free by now. Now I'm a contractor, so my savings is in the region of 50K. So 10 years ago, I should have been financially free by now for 5 years. Now, if we include return on investments 20%, this is where it gets also interesting, because you may think that 10 to 20% doubles it, but it actually is not quite like that. So if we take 6K, it takes 10 years instead of 19, almost double, fine. 4 years to achieve on 30K savings instead of 8 years, double, fine. But if you look at the, let's say, 30K 1 million, it takes 11 years instead of 16. But instead of 4.9 million after 30 years, which is on 10% return on investments, it's not double, but it's 35. So it's, what is it, 7 times more, almost 7 times more instead of double. So it makes quite a big difference in duration. So the longer you invest, the longer this will make a difference, duration, and the higher the return on investments, the higher the difference, especially the longer you do it. So return on investments, duration, and the value all make a difference. So think about your take home. What is the maximum you can increase it to? What is it that you can save? And if you were to invest it, these are some scenarios to think about it. For me personally, that was what, like, wow, I didn't know about it, and it's more achievable than I thought. Now, coming to the next one. Expenses. So expenses target, really important to control your expenses. I didn't really control my expenses, but there are ways to do that. The thing to bear in mind is your spending potential is unlimited. You can have $1 million, you can spend it within a day. It's unlimited. On the other hand, if you work out your needs, you will see that there is a minimum that you do need to spend, and you need to control your wants. This is what I've started in my first year of financial freedom. So I have set myself targets. I have used tools like Pocketsmith to help me with the budgets, and that started to help me out. And I have used separate accounts and started to control irregular spending. Now, how do I do it now? I've stopped using Pocketsmith. The way I do it now, I have a dedicated card to groceries with a set budget, and then I use a U account, which is an account that I really like, because you can create sub accounts in the account, and you can. I send myself budgets every week and redistribute it against my budget. So I spend proactively every week, so I know exactly what I'm spending, but the actual spend occurs later on. And I like it because it's a little bit inconvenient. So if I want to spend money, I have to log into the app. I have to check how much money I've got in a particular category, and then send it to my main account and pay for it. So a little bit inconvenient, but it works brilliantly for my controlling my expenses. So for me, it works very well. And next we have savings and financial cushion. Now, why financial cushions? I personally believe it's really important, and that's because I suffered an illness and was out of a job, but 4.9 people are unemployed, 6% working adults are off work due to long-term illness, 19% of working age are disabled, and 19% of people die before they reach retirement age. So things can happen. You've probably heard about a few cases. You may have been involved in some of these as well, but during the life, it's important to have a financial cushion, because if it happens, you need to ask yourself, how long can you survive on your savings? And can you cope with a disability, be out of work? And is your family financially protected? I mean, for me, when I was disabled, I didn't know if I will be coming back to work due to my illness. It was really hit me mentally that I will put my family in a really, really bad situation. So we have a newborn, my wife looks after it, and I was unable to help them in any way. So I made a kind of a strong commitment to change my situations and do whatever I can to change it, but also look after proactively for myself, my situation, my money, and also my family. Now, what is important about savings? Helps to survive crises, set a target, are affected by inflations, and are low risk investment strategy if you want to put it into saving account. Financial cushion helps with unexpected expenses needed if you cannot work out, if you are not paid. And what helped in my case, I ran out of kind of my savings, and my credit cards helped me, overdrafts helped me. I didn't pay a bit of tax in business account until I recovered, got a new contract, and bounced back. Now, long-term illness, 2 years with average household spending is 16K for 2 years. And if you save 6K a year average, you need 10 years to cover long-term illness. So not a great situation to be in. Obviously, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's great, but when it happens, my impression was I was really risky in my own life because it was just a matter of one illness and that's it. You are into financial difficulties. Now, investments. What is important about investments? There are a risk you can lose money, can make a big difference. Passive income and reinvestments can make a big difference. So I've showed you some examples. It's worth trying them on yourself. I know I've spent quite a bit of time myself doing different scenarios and getting my head around them. Investments, value, return investments, and durations are the key ones, and it's important to understand the kind of relationship between those three. And reinvestments, as I mentioned, what you invest gives you a certain passive income, and you can take this amount and reinvest again, and that will keep increasing and increasing and increasing, and it makes a big difference. So passive income in here on this chart. So this is what you are looking for. So this is where you look into the future, or if you are already doing it a bit in the past and a bit into the future, but it helps you to monitor the situation and see if what you are investing is giving you the return on investments that you expected. And then see if you are progressing well according to your forecast, according to your targets. So essentially what you are doing is business intelligence in your personal life. Now, what is important about passive income? Your money is working for you 24 hours a day. If you are sick, if you want to quit your job, you can buy time for yourself and your family. Lower risk, you can have multiple streams of income, so that's quite good, because if you have a job, it's a single stream. I mean, apparently millionaires have on average 7 streams of income. If you have 7 and 3 of them don't work, you still have 4, so it lowers risks. And how much? 30k a year is basic financial freedom in UK, according to average statistics. So let me just have a look at the time. Okay, so let me show you the dashboard. So this is the dashboard with sample data. I've put some sample data. You can put your own data to fill it in. You can see the financial cushion is changed to years and months. I have prepared some sample data. This one is a little bit more aligned with my life, and I've put some. You can put future days in here if you want to. So this is my projection for 2021, 2022, with my potential and target increasing as well. Expenses, I'm in control in 2020, and I wasn't before. And then my savings, which is in here. If we wanted to look at the average household, I didn't do any variations of it, but you have 35k, 29k expenses, 6k savings. And I've put some data. So if someone started at 2012, so let's say 9 years ago, and saved 6k in here, that's where they should be in 2020, 21. And over in here gives us 11k passive income, which is not far away from basic financial freedom. Now, to enter the data, it's very simple. I've got instruction on the website for non-technical people, but essentially you go to Power Query, you have financial data on the left, on the right you have source, click the icon, and you just need to enter the data. So you can see that I've got data. This is used for the drop-down box, sample data 2, and average household. So starting from here, you would just have to fill in your data. I do it in a spreadsheet, so you can copy paste it, do it in a spreadsheet and copy paste it here. And it should be as simple as that. To fill in your take-home year, take-home target, potential, investment, reinvestments, expenses, savings. And the cushion is in decimal in years, and that will essentially display the data on this dashboard. So I do encourage you to, let me just go to the presentation. So what can you do with the dashboard? I do encourage you to fill in the dashboard with the data. Not everyone will do it. I know some people who said they are not going to do it because it will look terrible. But if you want to have this, at least this clarity in your own life, and if you feel like this is a good way to present it, then you can fill it in and see what it is. The most important is to work out the key KPIs, and one important one is what is it that you want to invest in. If you don't want to invest in anything, you can live from savings, but obviously that's much harder. If you do want to invest it in, work it out, what is the return on investment. So think about increasing take home if you are not already at the full potential of a permanent or contract, or your own business if you want to run that. Be in control of your expenses, savings, face it, use tools like Pocketsmith, work it out if you are in control or if you are not. If you are, that's excellent. Create a financial cushion. For me, financial cushion personally is very important, and I would say don't be like me. Have a financial cushion. If anything happens, you will be in a much better situation than I was. Work out realistic investment on value, value that you want to invest, and return on investment. Analyze the results. That's what you do. Power BI, obviously, it's for analysis. You can do it for your own life. Check progress on a regular basis and become financially free. So essentially, it's the same thing in a business that runs a business and runs a BI project, Power BI project for decision makers. It's just for us in personal life if you wish to use it. Now, more webinars, there are recordings, and this will be recorded as well. Next webinar that I do, I've got a life intelligence webinar, maximize your take home. So I'll talk more about that, and you can join on Meetup on our groups, and we will be running more on the webinars through either for Power BI in Manchester as well, and on our group as well. So share feedback. If you have any feedback for me, please do send me feedback on LinkedIn. I always look forward to receiving feedback so I can improve the session and see what you think about. So questions and answers. So I will finish here and let it pass it back to, I don't know, Alex.
Hi, Emil, you all right?
Yeah, good.
Good. Thanks for your talk tonight. Been very enjoyable. Obviously, good to hear how you've saved money. Obviously, paid your medical bills, but obviously how you're planning to get yourself financially free in the very near future. As you can see, Ben is just sorting himself out. I think Ben's off for a run. Good to see in the background. He's now off screen.
Yeah,
oh, he's still there. There he is. Thank you very much to Francisco. I think Francisco's. Hi, Francisco.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you very much for your talk this evening. Very enjoyable. It's a pleasure to have you on this evening, both of you guys. I know we've had a good 30 or so attendees this evening. We'll be publishing tonight's session on YouTube for people who join late, or anyone who wants to recommend the session to their friends, colleagues, etc. It will be available on Ben's YouTube. I'll post the link tomorrow. But thank you very much to Emil and to Francisco for their talk this evening. Much appreciated, and thank you for adding your talks to our collection of fantastic webinars we've had over the last year or so. And hopefully when COVID's died down and we're able to do more face-to-face sessions, we'll have you present at the user group in person. But hopefully that will be planned very, very soon. We are back with the user group in 4 weeks on the 24th of June. I will be announcing the speakers shortly on Meetup. But again, if you want access to tonight's talks or slides, feel free to contact Emil and Francisco via LinkedIn or myself on the Meetup, and I will share the YouTube link tomorrow. But thank you very much to Sheb, Ben, Emil, and Francisco. Enjoy the rest of your sunny evening, guys, and we'll catch you very, very soon. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.